lifestyle program in Foothill Ranch. Today, first of all, my name's Mona. I'm Mona Cabrera. I'm the dietitian, the registered dietitian here at the lifestyle program in Foothill Ranch. And we've been doing lives here. And today we are talking about 3 popular diets. We're going to be talking about the keto diet, the IF, intermittent fasting, and the Mediterranean diet. So if you're on here, I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to pop on, say hi, let me know who's here. Say hi if you're here, guys. I want to know who's here. Okay, I don't see anyone on yet, but let's get started. And we'll be back. I'll be here Wednesday and Friday with a cooking demo, and Rebecca's been doing an everyday workout video for you, so I hope you've been tuning into those. We've been having fun doing them for you all. So, about 50% of Americans are on a diet at any one given time. So, everyone's looking for that quick fix diet, maybe to lose weight, improve some health measures. But as a country, our obesity rate is skyrocketing, right? So we're going to be talking about these 3 popular diets, just a few facts about them. And the thing about diets is that if the diet puts you in some kind of deprivation, you may lose weight, but in the long term, you're not going to be staying on that diet for very long. And then you will end up gaining your weight back and even more, which is actually worse for you than just maintaining your weight. So just be very super careful before you start any diet, and you always definitely want to talk to your doctor, and if you have a dietitian, definitely talk about it with them. So what is the keto diet? The ketogenic diet is the first diet we're going to be talking about today. So it's become very popular in the last few years, but it's been around for a long time. And you'll see it a lot in social media. You'll see influencers really pushing it. You'll see it a lot in the media news. But educate yourself thoroughly on any type of diet before you jump on it. So what the ketogenic diet is, it's a very low carbohydrate diet, high fat diet. And some people compare it to the Atkins diet, but it's not the same. And so our body can use 2 fuel sources for energy. One is sugar and one is fat. So in the ketogenic diet, you are using your fat stores as an energy source, and that is called putting your body in a ketogenic state where you use ketone bodies for energy. So what do you eat on this diet? Diet is high fat, about 75 to 80% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carbohydrates. So, for example, high butter, high olive oil, avocado, meat, nuts, olive oil, I said, fish, and very, very little carbohydrates. So, no processed foods and sugars, very, very little vegetables, no fruit, so very little carbohydrates. So the liver is going to convert, when you get into ketosis, it's going to convert your fat for energy. So the diet was originally created back when as a therapeutic diet for children with epilepsy, so they could have a decrease in their seizures. And that's why it was created. And so, as you can see, it's not a very safe diet and has to be done really correctly. A lot of people do jump on this diet and use like a modification of it. So if you do plan to go onto this diet, like I said, please talk to your doctor and let them know that you want to do this. So a lot of people that do go on the keto diet, they do see some weight loss, fat loss, improvements, improve their blood sugars, they'll improve their cravings. But people that do it mostly for a very short time, and that's because it's very restrictive. It does eliminate a lot of foods, and mostly the carbohydrate food group, which for people is very hard to do. And so we tend to do it for a very short term, see some weight loss, and then we go back to old ways of eating. And sometimes, and most times, we'll gain our weight back and more. So be very careful. The next diet is intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is IF. That's how you'll hear it be called. And it's not a diet. It's more of a way of a schedule of eating. So you have a period of hours where you'll be eating, and then followed by a period of fasting. Most common IF is the 16-8, sorry. So there's 16 hours of your fasting, and then an 8-hour window where you'll be eating your meals and getting your calories. So for example, it's usually people will skip breakfast, eat at 12 p.m., stop at 7, or sometimes like 1 and 8, just a really short period of a window that you eat, about 8 hours. So in intermittent fasting, people do see some weight loss, some fat loss as well. They also see it can also decrease prevent diseases. It can improve your cognitive ability. So there are some improvements when people do follow IF. And intermittent fasting has been around for millions of years. Some people do it also part of their religion. So there's a lot of research that it's fairly new research with intermittent fasting. So it's still ongoing. A lot of the research has been done with rodents and some with humans. So we're still learning a lot about IF and the benefits. But if IF is done correctly, you can see some benefits for your health. So besides the 16-18, there's also a different intermittent fasting called alternate day fasting, and this is 1 day on, 1 day off. So what that means is 1 day you're eating your regular calorie needs, and then the next day you are fasting or eating 25% of your caloric needs, so usually about 500 calories or less. And people do see, again, the health benefits, weight loss, fat loss, health improvements. And then there's also the 5-2 fasting. So 5 days a week, you're eating your regular caloric needs, and then 2 days a week is fasting, or 25% of your caloric needs. So 5 days you eat your caloric needs, then 2 days you fast or eat about 25% of your caloric needs, about 500 calories or so. So you do see changes in hormone levels, which do improve like your hunger hormones. You see improvements in your metabolism, metabolic rate. People will also see improvements in their insulin sensitivity, so that will help burn fat, so they'll see weight loss. Some people will see cell function improvement, so cells digest and they remove old proteins, and they see cell regeneration. So there are some improvements seen in health outcomes with intermittent fasting. Other improvements have been shown in lipid profiles, lower blood pressure measurements, reduced markers of inflammation and oxidative stress. And let's see what else. Reduce insulin levels. So there are some improvements, like I said, with intermittent fasting. And it also can be seen in a calorie restrictive diet as well, same type of weight loss. And intermittent fasting is not for everyone, so don't just jump on it. If you're pregnant, if you're a pregnant woman, or you have fertility issues, it's not the best to be going on intermittent fasting. If you're a diabetic and you have hypoglycemic events, might not be the best thing for you. If you run with low blood pressure, so you definitely want to talk to your doctor at any time that you feel like you want to jump on some kind of diet. First, discuss it with your doctor or your dietitian if you have one. Okay, so that's a little bit about intermittent fasting. Let's see if there's any questions. Do you guys have any questions? I'll stop for a minute for questions. Type them in the box and we'll get to them. Nope? Okay. At any time, if you guys have questions, just type them in there and we'll answer them. Okay. So the last one, Mediterranean diet. So this one is based on foods from 1960 from Italy and Greece, so the Mediterranean area. And research have shown that people from that area have better health outcomes than Americans, and they have lower risk for lifestyle diseases. So what is that diet? What's the Mediterranean diet? You're probably familiar with a lot of foods from that area. So that diet encourages more foods, the majority of food from seafood, at least a couple times a week, moderate poultry, eggs, moderate dairy, so cheese, yogurts, and very rare red meats. It's very high in your fiber, your vegetables, your fruits, whole grains. And they don't eat this diet. They don't eat any processed foods and no processed oils, no added sugars, sweets. Let's see what else. Processed meats, no added sugars. So it's a diet very high, rich in healthy foods, vegetables, fruits, low animal products, really focusing on fish and seafood for their protein. And that diet has shown to help with weight loss, diabetes, blood pressure, prevent heart attacks, strokes. So that's the Mediterranean diet, focusing on those heart-healthy fats, olive oils, nuts, seeds, seafood a couple times a week, high vegetables, fruits, low processed sugars, like I said, processed foods, no added sugars, and processed oils. So those are 3 common diets right now that you might be hearing about: the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, more of a eating pattern, and the Mediterranean diet. And like I said, they all show some improvements in health outcomes and health markers. But if it's a restrictive diet, you might just jump on it, do it for a short term, and then go back to your old ways of eating. So you definitely want to find a diet that is sustainable for you and your lifestyle and that is healthy for you. And definitely talk to your doctor and your dietitian before you jump on it so you can do it correctly. It's very important to do it the right way. So those are those 3 diets in a nutshell. There's so much information about them, but I just wanted to touch on them a little bit to give you some information. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up. I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday for a fun cooking demo. If you guys missed any videos, they're all up on our YouTube Hoag Hospital, and you can go through and find any of the ones that you've missed. So I hope you guys have a great Monday, and we'll see you back on Wednesday.